local news station. This is KRON 4 News at 11.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us at 11 o'clock. I'm Catherine Heenan. Parts of the Bay Area have been facing dangerously hot conditions. The Weather Service issued an excessive heat warning. We know now it will be lasting until next week. We'll start with a look at some of the areas with the highest temperatures. KRON 4's Gail Ong is standing by with the details. Gail.
Yes, Catherine, we broke a record for the daily temperature in Livermore. 111 degrees was the high today, beating the old record at 109 in 1905. And this is not our coverage area, but Redding had an all-time record at 119 degrees as the high today, beating the old record at 118 degrees in 1971, 1981, and 1988. So not just the Bay Area, all up and down the state and much of the West Coast is under this so-called heat dome. These are the highs in our area. 111 in Livermore, you just saw 109 in Antioch. So the inner East Bay, some of the hottest temperatures, 109 in Santa Rosa, upper 90s in San Jose. The coolest spot, of course, was the coast, so that was the place to beat the heat. Current temperatures are sitting in the upper 50s and 60s, 70s in the South Bay and 60s in Santa Rosa. We have a nice onshore flow over by the coast, calm conditions, and overnight lows are pretty mild, but 22 miles per hour in Fairfield with that Delta breeze. People in Sacramento love that Delta breeze. We have that excessive heat watch and warning in place until 11 p.m. next Wednesday. See all this hot pink and orange along the West Coast. So, you want to just stay cool, hydrated as much as you can. It could be very dangerous for people sensitive to the heat. Looking ahead at the rest of your weekend, tomorrow we have another hot day in store, mainly in the East Bay, so we could see more triple digits. And then Monday, Tuesday, we see a bit of a relief for you inland. And when I come back, we still have triple-digit heat in the 7-day forecast. Back to you.
All right, time for another look at the forecast, and KRON 4's Gail Ong is here. Gail, we just want the heat to let up, but I guess it's not going to do that for a while.
Yes, inland still going to be pretty toasty. You can see the marine layer that has been the friend for you along the coast. So that is certainly a place to beat the heat. Today was the peak of the heat. Today is day 5 of that heat wave. So tomorrow we have more triple-digit temperatures on the way, and then we will see a slight break on Monday, Tuesday. I want to look at temperatures right now statewide. You can see the difference in all the microclimates. Inland, you can see 90s in Fresno, Bakersfield, 87 in Sacramento, just dropped from 90 degrees a few moments ago, and 50s and 60s up and down the coast. And then you still have some 100-degree weather in Las Vegas and Phoenix, which we saw more than that today. So we broke a record in Livermore, 111 degrees. That is hot, and this is why. So this is the weather maker. I'm sure you've seen this forecast model for the last week and a half or so. This is that ridge of high pressure that is just parked over California that's bringing us these hot temperatures. So as you can see, we always want it to move east. Like we've had a few breaks here and there in the past, but this is the longest heat wave on record with the National Weather Service Bay Area office. So Monday, Tuesday, we start to see a slight cool down, but it'll still be hot in the upper 90s, and you'll see that in the 7-day forecast. And then that heat does return, so until next weekend we could see triple-digit heat inland once again. So your 4-zone forecast will be in the 60s around San Francisco tomorrow, 60s and maybe some 70s along the beach with the cloud cover as well. On the other side of the peninsula, we have some 70s, 80s towards Burlingame, and then we start to see some 90s towards Woodside and more 90s in Santa Clara County, as you could see. Now it will get hot inland. East Bay, we'll still see some triple digits, and the Tri-Valley, Pleasanton, Livermore, upper 90s, 100s over by the Brentwood and Discovery Bay, Wine Country, also seeing some low 90s, mid 90s in Sonoma. Upper 90s, you're flirting with 100 degrees again to Santa Rosa, 70s over by Point Reyes. And here is that 7-day forecast once again. So Monday, Tuesday, you see a break inland, as you can see, like flirting with triple digits on Monday, but then Wednesday, that's actually when that heat warning and advisories do expire Wednesday night. And we'll see if that does extend or not. But bottom line is, we're still going to be dealing with some very hot temperatures. But the good news is that the peak of the heat, it looks like it is behind us. That's what the forecast model models are showing us.
Good. A lot of red, a lot of orange.
Yeah.
Heat maps of yours.
I know. Very bright, but you know, stay cool and hydrated.
Thank you, Gail.
Sure.
Well, some evacuation orders remain in effect. No word yet on what caused that fire. All right, time to look at the 4-zone forecast as we look live at the Bay Bridge. And KRON 4's Gail Ong is here. Gail, at least a little cooler today.
Yeah, much cooler. We're talking 10+ degrees cooler, especially in places like Livermore, where we saw record-breaking heat at 111 degrees yesterday. And take a look at the difference. 99 degrees was the high today in Livermore, so we didn't see a lot of triple-digit heat in our major Bay Area cities, like, as you can see on this map. 60s by the coast, you know, 80s in the East Bay shoreline, even some 70s, 87 in Santa Rosa. Now, I wanted to touch base on some fire weather. We are not under a red flag warning, and even though weather conditions are not meeting the criteria of a red flag warning, there is still risk of sparks, and we have seen that some sparks when we did not have a red flag warning. Conditions are still very dry, and it is still very hot, even though the heat will slightly back off come Monday and Tuesday. So here is what we can expect. I want to show you the temperature change this time yesterday. That's when you will notice a difference, and you can see 24 hours ago, 9 degrees down in Fairfield, 13 degrees down in Livermore. A huge difference. Current wind speeds, we have the onshore flow, the sea breeze this evening, keeping things comfortable, especially in Fairfield. That delta breeze at 30 miles per hour, such a huge difference for the Sacramento area. And here we do have some heat though, so we still have a heat advisory and warning in place until at least Wednesday night. So that is something to consider, and you can see the start of your week here. Monday, Tuesday, we're backing off a bit from the hot temperatures. Still be hot in the upper 90s, but Tuesday, Wednesday, you could see the temperatures start to rebound back to the triple digits. So when I come back, we'll be talking about more heat because, yes, we do have more triple-digit heat, but I can tell you the major heat is behind us in this forecast. Back to you.
Okay, Gail, thanks very much. All right, now to our 4-zone forecast as we take a live look at the Sutro camera, the view. Where is that view? Anyway, let's view KRON 4's Gail Ong. Gail, we did see fog today, and it has felt cooler, so that was great.
Yeah, much cooler today, but we're not out of the woods just yet. We still have excessive heat warning and an advisory much across California, as you can see. So this is until Wednesday evening. So we will see the temperatures back off just a little bit for Monday, Tuesday. Here's the forecast model. I'm sure this looks familiar by now. High pressure taking over, but it will slightly nudge east Monday, Tuesday, and then temperatures will be rebounding on Wednesday. But we're not going to see that extreme heat we saw this week. You know, what yesterday was a record-breaking heat for Livermore at 111 degrees. So we're not going to see, we're going to still see above normal temperatures all through, you know, the week, but nothing as hot as that as far as we can see so far. So let's hope that verifies it, because we haven't had, you know, this long stretch of a heat wave on record, according to our Bay Area National Weather Service office. Overnight lows will be in the 50s and even 60s inland. So we have been seeing that, but it is getting a little cooler, you're noticing. And then these are the forecast highs for tomorrow. So you can see the temperatures starting to trend downwards, especially for Livermore. It's really for the inner East Bay communities like Concord, Antioch, and Livermore. Still toasty in Morgan Hill at 91, 85 expected in Santa Rosa. And you can see Napa close to 80s, Vallejo in the upper 70s, Oakland, you know, East Bay shoreline remaining in the 70s. And then, of course, the coast in the 60s. Half Moon Bay expected to be 70 degrees tomorrow. So even though it's hot elsewhere, people have been escaping to the beach. Just remember, the water temperature is pretty cold, so just practice some water safety tips there. So Monday, Tuesday, you'll get a break from that heat inland, and then temperatures will rebound Wednesday once again inland to triple digits. But then next weekend, it looks like we're back to the 90s, and you know, we're seeing to see 80s and 70s by the Bay, 60s by the coast. So much more manageable, still above normal, but still pretty hot.
Yeah. Enough with the really, really hot.
I know, I try. It's high pressure. That's our weather maker.
Thank you, Gail.
Sure.
And that was Caitlin Becker reporting. After Texas, the National Hurricane Center expects Beryl to turn and hit Arkansas late tomorrow and Tuesday. KRON 4's Gail Ong has the latest on Beryl. Gail.
Yeah, it's about 65 miles away from the coast of Texas, and we want to show you that location right now on our satellite and radar. A very dangerous, life-threatening storm for the folks out there, and you can just see the timing of this. We are definitely going to be following this and hearing about this in the national news, as this will be the first major hurricane to make landfall in the United States. So let's take a look at the timing. We're seeing local time 7 a.m. is when Beryl is expected to make landfall. And, you know, even though it's a Category 1 hurricane, you know, they could still cause some devastation. Even though people think major hurricane, you know, 4 and 5, but when it's a 1 making landfall here, that can cause some serious damage. So certainly thinking of the folks out there. And this is the track. It looks like it will be moving across the Midwest over there, and back here in the Bay Area, we could be feeling remnants of it. It may determine how it's going to steer the heat for us along the West Coast. So you can see Beryl there, and you know, the hurricane warning is in place for the folks out there. Back here in the Bay Area, we still have the heat going on and some fire danger, but over by the coast, we have the clouds rolling in, mostly clear inland tonight, but that should be, we could see some patchy fog along the bay and coast. Tomorrow, we could expect some relief from the heat, 90s inland instead of triple digits. Temperatures will eventually rebound, and we will cool down. So that excessive heat warning and advisory still in place along much of the West Coast, that hot pink and orange, and a watch over by Utah, the Four Corners. So here's that Futurecast model. May look familiar, a lot of orange here. So you see that ridge starts to back off a bit, but then midweek we get more heat. Not the extreme heat that we saw, but definitely above average temperatures throughout the week. So here's that 10 and 10 outlook. You'll notice inland, you'll still see some triple digit heat here, but now we're seeing 90s as we see the 10 at 10 outlook. So next weekend looks much more comfortable, you know, not the excessive dangerous heat, but still pretty hot and toasty. Back to you.
Thank you, Gail.
Yeah, we have the clouds over by the coast, and you could run into some patchy fog inland in the morning, but inland is mostly clear tonight. And we still have the heat warning and advisory in place until Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday, the start of the week, it looks like we'll be backing off in the heat just a bit, but we're not out of the woods yet for really much of the West Coast. Still heat warning, advisory, and watches in place. And this is why we have this ridge of high pressure. It looks like it's moving south now as we start the week, and that will bring some relief to our inland communities, places like Livermore, where yesterday we saw record-breaking heat. Now we'll be seeing upper 90s. So yesterday was 111 degrees. So very hot day, and I could say the peak of the heat looks like is behind us, but we will still be above normal in the temperatures for much of the week. So, you know, when you have those triple digit heat days back to back today was day 6, so we're going to go on to day 7 with some hot weather once again. And we have overnight lows pretty mild in the 50s and 60s as you make your way inland. So 60 degrees in Hayward, 60 degrees in Livermore. That's how warm it's going to be in the morning, so pretty mild overnight lows. Here are the forecast highs, so very similar to today's highs, you know, in the upper 90s and our warmest spots like Livermore and Antioch. And you'll notice the temperatures trend just a bit down a bit, but that will be rebounding midweek, as you know, after all, we still have that heat warning and advisory in place until Wednesday 11 p.m. as of tonight, Sunday night. So a slight break from that triple digit weather from Monday, Tuesday inland, and then temperatures do rebound middle of the week. But next weekend, it looks like we'll have some similar temperatures to today in the upper 90s. But, you know, still, we're not out of the woods yet, but still pretty warm in our inland communities.
Yeah, a little better. I'll take a little better.
Yeah, at least the coast. You know, you still have the marine layer. That's been the friend there.
And we've been seeing some fog.
Yes.
Thank goodness. Thank you, Gail.
Sure.
Well,